Alright, guys. This is post recording of the game. I actually did do live commentary for this. Here's the problem. I was using my wife's headset, and apparently my PS4 doesn't recognize it as a microphone, and I didn't realize it until I started editing this episode. So, essentially, what happened is now I can't really... I have to redo the entire audio commentary post-play. So, I'm going to just kind of wing it here, and I'm going to try not to talk over the cutscenes like I did during the actual gameplay. Today is going to be a two-episode upload for this game. It's a special game to me. I love the Spider-Man games. I love Spider-Man. So, I am going to do two uploads today. And, but for the first two episodes, at least, it's not going to have live com. It's going to be post-recording commentary, which really, really sucks, because you're not going to get the authentic reaction of what I had when I first played it, and that's really unfortunate. But things happen. I made a mistake in recording. Lesson learned. So I'm going to kind of talk about what I thought of the game.
All units, level 4 mobilization. Location, Fisk Tower.
Fisk?
What I thought of the game as I was playing it. I'll try to go through my thoughts again. I love this opening scene. To me, this is what I would picture Spider-Man being like if he were real. Like, you know, he's wearing the Spider-Man boxers, and yeah, I mean, basically he's your average everyday dude with superpowers. And this little joke's pretty funny. But I like how they kind of implemented.
All units stand by. Warrant is en route.
I like how they kind of implemented the a little bit of the movie Spider-Man idea with the suit that actually, you know, had a little bit of robotics to it that Tony gave him in Homecoming. Well, I guess he can't get to in Civil War, but he found out about the extra stuff in the suit in Homecoming. But the web slinging in this game, swinging through town, which you actually get to start right here. This is kind of a tutorial for the web slinging. Is actually really, really cool. It feels a lot like Spider-Man 2.
We're at Fisk Tower, but still waiting on the warrant.
Mind if I join in on the fun?
You know how his lawyers are. This one needs to go by the book.
Come on, Yuri. I've been waiting 8 years for this.
You really want to help? Head to Times Square. Sounds like his guys are trying to keep my backup from reaching the scene.
You got it. Almost there.
So, the web slinging in this game feels a lot like it did in Spider-Man 2. And, I think it's done really well. And, we're gonna get to combat here in a second. But the idea of what they were going for with this Spider-Man game and having him already have been Spider-Man for at least 8 years, according to what he just said, with him waiting 8 years to get after Fisk. It's really cool.
Hello?
Parker, where are you? We must run through the demonstration at least once before the grant committee arrives.
Yes. Sorry. Yes. Dealing with a personal issue. I'll be in soon. Promise. Better wrap this up quick than get to my real job.
I mentioned when I did this live that I like how they kept kind of the Spider-Man idea of him struggling between being Spider-Man and being Peter Parker. Like a major plot point in this game, at least in the beginning of the game. But I'm sure it's going to be recurring throughout the game. So, I'll kind of do, as we swing through New York here, a little bit of like a post. I played for about an hour and a half maybe that I recorded. I'm going to do kind of like a little post, like first impressions type thing for the rest of this episode.
1032, Times Square, officers under fire. Bring in the hammer.
I'm waiting for the cutscene to get done with it because you guys are wondering why I'm not talking. I'm gonna try not to talk during cutscenes as much as possible.
Get it!
Morning, guys. Who's ready for their hot, fresh cup of bodily hard?
This opening combat tutorial, the combat in this game reminds me a lot of Arkham, but the controls are a little bit different, and there's a little bit more you can do with Spider-Man than with Batman in the Arkham series. It's a little ambitious. It's a lot to learn off the bat. It's easy to learn how to have combat in this game, but I have a feeling it's going to be one of those things where it's easy to learn but hard to master. And I mean, because it runs you through this stuff in this little, I would say it's probably about a 45-minute opening little mission here. It's actually a really long opening mission. I really respect this game for its ambition with its opening mission. It's really good. And well, I actually really like the game so far. It actually is bothering me right now because this editing process should not have taken this long. And I really want to keep playing and recording more for you guys because it's really good. And unfortunately, I screwed up on the live comm, so I gotta do post comm for it. And I want 2 episodes out today, so I'm gonna do it, even if it means this is all I get to play today.
All done. What's happening?
But anyway.
Yuri?
In here we get a little bit more web slinging, and it will talk a little bit more about how to do it.
This wouldn't go quietly.
And apparently I forgot to turn off my timer for recording. Anyway. So... hang on, there we go. So anyway, yeah, this opening scene's really good, and this game is going to have a lot to
Get more
offer.
backup and lock down the airspace.
Yuri, you okay?
If he makes it out of that building, we're gonna lose him.
I'm gonna go,
Do your thing.
Yes! He's the day, Willie!
This is actually kind of a cool
Heads up!
moment right here too.
Hey, where you going? Catch! I'll clear a path. Follow me!
Get out of here, Spider-Man! We got this!
This game is very cinematic in its delivery, and I think that's a good thing. It definitely feels like you're playing a movie. A lot like Uncharted does.
You do not got this, buddy.
I think it's gonna stop real quick.
Oh, thanks for the confidence boost, guys.
But this game feels like you're in a superhero movie. And initially, I feel it feels different than Arkham Knight in that way, because Arkham Knight felt more episodic to me. In as much that the voice actors were familiar in the Arkham Knight and Arkham series, really. With, you know, the guy who did the 90s Batman cartoon being the voice of Batman, and the Joker being the same voice actor. I cannot think of his name right now for the life of me. And a lot of the voice actors being the same from the 90s cartoon. So, the Arkham series feels a little bit more episodic to me, whereas this game feels more cinematic. It feels more like a movie. In the way that it's shot, and the way they introduce, like that part right there with the guys sitting on the elevator, and the way Spider-Man fights too. It's very cinematic, and they're used to using the web shooters more. So a lot of what I like about Spider-Man in general is how he's
I think that's all of them.
a minor league hero
Come on!
that gets caught up in the major league
Shut the
world.
elevators down! Take the stairs!
So, like, strength and power-wise, he's
Prefer a more
really
direct
only
approach.
on, like, the same level of, like, Daredevil. But the stuff he gets into basically gets involved in the event.
Spider-Man,
It's the
status.
same way in the movie.
Heading to the upper floors and hoping nobody turns
With
on the
Tony, you know,
elevator.
bringing him in with the
Our
Civil
choppers
War,
are
and
taking
then
fire. Looks like Fisk has
not
armed men
basically
on
telling him,
every
hey, you know,
floor.
be a friendly neighborhood
He's
Spider-Man.
desperate.
Which
And he's
is
hitting us with
what
everything he's got.
I have to find him and end this.
I think
Not
is
yet.
endearing
We
about
just
Spider-Man,
picked up
Spider-Man,
chatter.
is
They're
that
wiping
he
all their data servers. We
is...
need that evidence if we want to put him away for good.
Okay, server room it is.
In case you missed that,
Call from
basically,
May.
they're
Yeah,
worried
it's-
about their fist destroying the evidence.
Hi, Aunt May.
or
What
this
is all
arrest.
that noise?
Watching a superhero movie. What's up?
I just wanted to make sure we're still on for dinner tomorrow night.
Totally. Listen, I gotta go.
Well, okay. Love you.
Hostiles! Next
Love you
floor up.
too. That's my cue.
But, yeah, like he gets involved in, you know, Infinity War, but like, he's always a little in over his head. And I think that, again, I think that's what makes him an endearing character. And I'm looking forward to see how they use that in this game. And right there, I think I used the throw effectively for the first time. But,
Hold him so he can't shoot.
How exactly do you think this ends well for you?
this is actually pretty cool too. They added what's called focus in this game, and it essentially, and I kind of stopped earlier and read it, and in my commentary I actually read it out loud, but I'll just kind of explain it here a little bit. As you do combos,
On to the next
you
one.
gain what's called focus, and you can use focus to heal Spider-Man. You can use it to do a big finisher, which is what
Regret
this
your life
part is
choices
on here,
yet?
like this right there. That's a finisher, and it basically instantly KOs an enemy. And
Gotta find that server
That
room
you
before
use it
there's no
on.
evidence left.
So that's kind of an interesting concept. It reminds me a little bit of, and I can't believe I'm saying this, reminds me a little bit of the Batmobile in Arkham Knight, where you have like the abilities where you do so much damage, and then you can do like a bigger attack
They'll
at the
destroy
end
all
of
the
it.
evidence.
It's a lot like that, except for this, it's Spider-Man,
look for a
and
sneaky
here's
way.
kind of like Spider-Man's detective mode.
There we
So you
go.
can kind of sense what's going on around him. It's kind of cool. But anyway,
It's like my own private vengeance.
yeah, like you charge up and then you can use an ability, you can
This
heal
may be a
yourself,
dirty criminal, but he has
and
remarkably clean
it's
air
pretty good.
vents.
Hurry up. The boss wants
So-
everything erased. Can't make it delete any faster.
The one thing that right now has
I forgot my password.
kind of, I wouldn't even say it's annoyed me about this game, but it's something that I was really looking forward to that I don't yet have access to for some reason. That's the costumes that you get for pre-order.
Still purging.
The IT guys at my last job.
I looked it up and there's a way to do it, but it wasn't available whenever I looked. So I don't know if it's something that you unlock after kind of the first little opening part of this game,
Access that console before everything's gone.
which the second half happens in episode 2. I actually don't finish this entire mission in this episode.
Let's see just how good their security is. Aw, you guys forgot the latest kernel patch.
Hiding in the server room. Cowardly. Even for you.
Says the guy frantically erasing his search history.
After all these years, you're still just an ignorant child.
True, but that's part of my charm, isn't it?
He's not wrong.
Damn you. Get that door down now! Get past him. Destroy everything. Look around you. I do this. What have you ever done that mattered?
Well, there was that time I took down a pompous, overstuffed crime lord before breakfast.
Without you, the scum I kept in check will run rampant, and it'll be your fault.
Dig in.
Been a long, tough road, Fisk. Almost sad to see it end.
Me afraid.
We'll get ready for the main event.
And here you can see I'm still getting used to the healing mechanic. As I forgot, actually, I could have healed probably almost a full health right
An
here. And then
explosion
didn't.
just...
I saw it. Fitz could have the whole place wired. I'm sending in a bomb unit.
I'll make sure no one gets in
No,
their
I
way.
guess I do use it here.
Kill him, or the boss will kill us!
But one thing that's different initially that I've noticed from Arkham
I
is
think that's all of them.
Spider-Man combat doesn't really have like a counter attack. It has a dodge,
Clear, move up!
but it essentially has the same.
Hey guys, I guess bombs are part of Willie's getaway plan? Sounds like they're trapped.
You go after them. We'll look for the bombs.
It has the same idea, where you see the Spidey sense symbol above Spider-Man's head, and that's when you do the dodge. Later, or after in the second episode, I do get an ability that I didn't get to use because there's not really that much combat in the second episode because it's a lot of exposition, but we'll get to that later. A lot of that I think is going to be based on the skill tree, where like I get an ability again later that says whenever I do a successful combo, I don't know if it says always or sometimes or how it's worded exactly, that I will shoot the guy attacking Spider-Man in the face with a web shooter.
We can't move.
So basically, where Batman's combat is focused on a lot of countering directly.
Got it?
Spider-Man's is a lot of more passive. A lot more passive, like self-preservation type combat, whereas Batman's a little bit more aggressive. So, yeah, that's one big thing I've noticed. Also, the buttons are a little bit different.
Okay,
Like
Willie,
the attack button's the
your
same
way.
button from Arkham, but the counter
Spider-Man,
button's
it's
different,
Yuri.
and you're gonna
How we
see
doing, Captain?
that affect me as
Could
I
be
play this
better.
game
Our
because I
choppers
keep
took
trying
a
to hit
beating. We had to
triangle
ground our last one.
to
If
counter,
Fitz calls in a
and
chopper,
it's
we have
actually
no one to stop
circle
it from landing.
to
And no one
dodge,
to chase him if he
so to
flies
speak.
away.
Why do I get the feeling
Triangle
that's
is
what he was
actually a
planning all
totally
along?
different combat
Guess he probably
mechanic in
was.
this one. So you see me quite a bit, especially whenever I get to the boss fight, where I am trying to remember what this game taught me in the last 5 minutes and not use what I've been using playing Arkham for the past like week. So yeah.
Uh-oh.
Incoming!
That's enough out of you. More rockets? A little excessive, don't you think?
And that was kind of a cool shot too. I don't know if that was something I did by accident or if that was what was meant to happen. But I kind of zip-lined to those two guys with the bazookas. And
What? Is it National Rocket
in
Day?
mid-air it said, hey, tap circle to dodge the bazooka around, so I did. And Spider-Man just, he did like a mini flip in mid-air, which I didn't really notice when I did it live. Because I was trying to dodge a rocket. But I wasn't sure if that was, me that did that, or if that was just the result of the counter. Or just a well-timed zipline from me, kind of thing.
Man, how'd the bomb squad guys get through this?
Foreshadowing. And here you can see Spider-Man do a little bit of hardcore parkour, Assassin's Creed style.
Settle down. I've got enough for everybody.
And here they show another kind of cool mechanic, which I didn't notice right away, but you'll see me use it here in a second. This. You can latch on the walls and jump off and attack guys from that. So that's pretty cool. Again, use of Spider-Man. The difference in playing games that have been compared already, Arkham and this game, because I've read quite a few times that this game's supposed to be Spider-Man's Arkham. It's been mentioned in build-ups to this game and previews of this game by other
You guys all
YouTubers.
right?
We were just about to call for backup.
I think I'm it.
Lead the way. We'll be right behind you. Heads up, boss.
When I recorded this live, I said obvious trap is obvious whenever they said we'll be right behind you. But anyway, like it's interesting that a lot of people were comparing this game before it even came out to being like Spider-Man's Arkham, like his breakout, like his next big breakout game. And the combat is very similar, and as I've already stated, and you know that's okay. But it's different in that they actually focused on using Spider-Man as Spider-Man and not trying to make him different than he should be combat-wise. Like, a lot of his combat is based around closing distance with his webs and pulling guys to him with his webs, and then his fighting style is a lot more acrobatic and defensive, like whereas, say, Batman's is
they were Willie's last line of defense.
more aggressive
Take him down, now.
and planned. And Spider-Man is very, again, he's very, hang on.
Writing your memoirs? Don't forget the hyphen between Spider and Man.
Get the chopper ready. I won't be long. I'm surprised you made it this far. But your foolishness ends now.
You do know I can still see you, right?
8 years of this insolence.
Oh, for me? You shouldn't have. Gotta wait for an opening.
Spider-Man's combat is a lot more improvisational. He does a lot more of, hey, you know, I have to react as opposed to prepare, whereas Batman's prepare. That's like his shtick. So that's one thing about these two games that I've really enjoyed so far is the differences between the combat and how they did it right. And here you can see me kind of struggling to figure this out. I figured it out pretty quick, but pro tip for this part: don't hesitate to web throw those. You pretty much do it almost immediately after you fully web them. So,
destroy you.
Pro tip. And here we have the first boss fight, which it goes over a few more combat mechanics. And I said this in my live com, not necessarily right here. I think I said it in the second episode, but this opening boss fight is actually pretty difficult. I think I lose once here. I think I die once. Yeah, right here.
Still haven't learned.
And I died quite a few times doing the second part of this boss fight, which we'll see in the second episode. But I have a lot of respect for them not treating the player with kid gloves in this first boss fight. Like, it really shows that you have to outthink your opponent as Spider-Man, because clearly Fisk is stronger than Spider-Man in this fight. Like, and here I was trying to figure out why I wasn't web zipping to him like I did the first time I webbed him up. And here's another pro tip. I got so used to pushing and holding triangle from the earlier fights with the grunts that I didn't realize what I was doing was holding the button here instead of tapping it like you're supposed to web zip to it. So I actually don't figure that part out until much later in this boss fight. That's what I was doing wrong. In fact, I don't even figure that until episode. So, yeah. But I really respect their ambition in the beginning of this game. And how they went about introducing Spider-Man's abilities and what he can do in combat.
You are everything that's wrong with this city!
Huh. I was gonna say the same to you.
You know what to do, man!
Surrounded.
And how they introduce Fisk and kind of do a little bit of exposition and focus around Fisk. And again, this especially this part of this fight is not easy.
Something I said.
It's a lot to learn quickly.
I don't want to
How to deal with a lot of opponents, and especially one of them is Fisk, who can dang near one-shot you. I mean, one of his attacks hits really hard.
You still haven't learned.
And I think right here, in my commentary, I decided I was going to pause it and start a new episode, because it's already 26 minutes into this one. Yeah. So, I'll see you in the second episode. It is going to be a double upload day. I'm probably going to be uploading this one while I'm doing commentary for the next one. So, if you enjoyed this episode, watch the second one. Otherwise, I will see you guys later.